Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel for this video on the scarcity mindset. This is something that I am super passionate about because I feel like so much financial content is about overspending. People don't really think about the scarcity mindset a ton, while it really does make you silently suffer. Just learning how to create meaning with money is so important. So I wanted to do this video today showing 5 signs that you might have the scarcity mindset. These are signs that I've seen in myself or seen in other people that I've talked to about having the scarcity mindset. So if you're new here, hi, my name's Alice. I love to chat about money and show you a little bit about my life. If you want to join a community that is all about enjoying life in general while being smart with money, then this is definitely the place for you. Do not forget to subscribe. Okay, so first off, let's define scarcity mindset. I'm sure there's lots of different definitions out there, but the definition that I have created for myself based on what I have experienced is an obsessive worry and need to control the finite amount of resources that we have. And that finite amount of resources is money usually, but it could be other things as well. There are multiple reasons why identifying the scarcity mindset can be very tricky. And the first one is that the scarcity mindset actually is grounded in truth. We do not have an unlimited amount of money. We do have to make choices about our finances. And also, if you've lived a life where you have had to make super difficult financial decisions, that kind of reinforces the scarcity mindset as being true, because it's like, I do need to control things and I do need to obsessively worry about my money because I have had times where I haven't had enough. I haven't been able to buy groceries, or I haven't been able to pay rent. Like, if you've had experiences like those before, then that kind of reinforces a scarcity mindset because it is founded in some truth. We don't always have enough. Okay, the second reason is that the scarcity mindset looks so good on paper. I noticed this a lot in my marriage at first when I really decided to start working on this money mindset that I had that was just really, really hard for our finances, is that I always felt like I was in the right because I was saving money. Like, how could I be wrong if I was the one that wanted to save the money? It turns out that when you have the scarcity mindset, your budget, phenomenal. You're saving so much money, you're spending very little on your wants, you are trying to cut costs with your needs. Like, it looks good on the budget spreadsheet, but then when you see it play out in daily life, it's like so hard to watch. And as someone who has experienced the scarcity mindset, it also creates a lot of money anxiety. It's not creating the life that you want to live with your money, but people sometimes praise you for your ability to save all your money and invest all your money and spend none of it on fun, or never go out to a party, or never go get lunch with someone because you're saving money. Like, it looks so good to other people, but then in your mind, it doesn't feel so good. So that's another reason why it can just be so hard to know if you have the scarcity mindset. And then the third reason why it can be tricky to not only identify it, but overcome the scarcity mindset or even want to start that journey is the fact that worrying about something gives us a false sense of control. Again, if you've had those really tricky situations where you had to make those financial decisions, where you had to move, or you had to sell something that you didn't want to sell, you feel so out of control. And we don't have as much control of our lives as we think that we do. Like, there's so much outside of our control, and money feels like something we can obsessively worry about, and that makes us feel like that we are going to avoid any financial heartache in the future by sacrificing our happiness and our meaning now. Okay, so let's get into the 5 signs that you might have the scarcity mindset. So number 1 is all you can talk about is money. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love talking about money. I love transparent finances. Like, personal finance is such a passion of mine. But let me give you guys a little bit of an example of what it means to only ever talk about money. I went to a restaurant a few months ago with someone, and we knew how much the prices were gonna be going into the restaurant. Like, you check on Google Maps or Apple Maps and it says like the $1 sign, 2 or 3 or whatever. So we go there, and the entire time, I'm not like bashing this person because that was me for like literally years and years and years of my life. But it's just super interesting that that one person, the only words that came out of their mouth was how much the food was. And the food was around $15 to $20 a plate, and then plus tip. So definitely a stretch for some people. In the wrong circumstance, it would be the wrong place for us to go eat. But it was super interesting how literally they could not stop talking about it, which is interesting because like they were already there in the restaurant. They had already made the decision to go to that restaurant and buy that food. So it's interesting how they were just obsessively talking about how expensive every single thing was. And they'd point to the different part of the menu and say, look how much this is, look how much this is. And I was like, yeah, like those are a lot, but like this is all you're talking about where you're surrounded by all the people that love you the most. So it's just an interesting thing where it's like, Am I obsessively talking about how much something costs to make myself feel better, that like because I'm aware of the cost it means that I'm not going to spend too much money? Like, is this a sign of controlling money? And then the worst part was after dinner, it was super awkward how forceful some people were talking about how you better eat your leftovers because how expensive that was. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I'm in the principal's office forcing me to eat my leftovers tomorrow. Like it's gonna be okay. Is it the end of the world if I don't finish them? I don't quite know. So to me, I just felt like that entire dinner experience, I can't even remember anything else besides the money aspect of it, because that was literally all that was talked about. I've been there before. I've been that person, not bashing anyone, but like, that might be a sign that you have the scarcity mindset. But on the flip side, I was with my coworkers at my last job and we were all sharing restaurant recommendations. And instead of being like, oh, this restaurant's good, but don't go there, it's way too expensive, someone would be like, this restaurant is really good for like an expensive world-class date night activity. Or this restaurant's really good for an anniversary. It is expensive, but it's so good. Or this restaurant is good for your everyday because it's super cheap and it's delicious. So just the different ways that we talk about money, in the sense that like, yeah, some restaurants and some places are more expensive than others. But like, is that all you can talk about? Is that literally the end all be all? I remember when I used to get a menu and I would just immediately try to find the absolute cheapest thing. That's totally fine. Great way to save money. But for me, it's like I am choosing to go to a restaurant. So that was my first decision. And now I'm going to just sit down, enjoy. I'm going to get a reasonably priced meal. Am I going to get the $200 lobster? No, because my husband doesn't like seafood. I'm going to make the financially responsible decision to choose where I'm going to go to eat. But then once I'm there, I'm not going to talk too much about money. And I really hope I am not bashing anyone. I'm just saying, like, let's take a step back and think about these situations and how we're acting, and if that really is a healthy financial mindset to have. Okay, so number 2 is you might have the scarcity mindset if you do really intense things to make your life harder to save an inconsequential amount of money. I'm talking like you're doing things to save 5 cents and it's like way too much work. So one of the funniest examples, and I am so sorry if you do this, but like I can't. Some people don't use the AC in their car to save money on gas. But like, I'm sorry, can you really have a healthy relationship with money if it's a blistering hot day, if it's 95 degrees and you're like, no AC because I'm gonna save $50 a year total? I mean, gas prices are higher, so you might be saving a little bit more, but it is so inconsequential compared to the actual price of like having a car and paying for gas, paying for insurance. I genuinely don't think that is worth it. But I'm sure you guys have a lot of other examples of things that maybe you or someone else has done to save money. But I think I did the math one time and it genuinely saves you cents. Like, not that much money. So is it really worth it? I mean, maybe you're gonna say it is worth it. I don't know. I just feel like that's not actually something that's moving the needle for you. So why are you bending over backwards to do it? I don't know. Second thing that I noticed that actually makes me rage, so again, I'm sorry if you do this, but in airports do this all the time. When you buy the Scott's toilet paper, that's like 1,000 squares in one roll. You guys, 20 to 30 squares every time. Like, it is not saving money. And so I just think there's little things like that where it's like, I'm gonna go extremely cheap and it's actually not gonna save me money, or it's gonna save me an inconsequential amount of money and make my life so much harder. But honestly, one of the needs that the scarcity mindset fulfills for you is the fact that you need a sense of control when it comes to money, especially if you're someone who has experienced that out of control sense when it comes to your finances. I definitely know, like, college was a really intense time, paying for groceries, paying for rent. So I feel like the scarcity mindset really helped me to develop that sense of control, which was not actually like that useful. And yeah, I have gone out of my way to make my life harder to save a very small amount of money. I think the most embarrassing thing I ever did was one time I found myself like collecting the lint from the dryer and not throwing it away because I was like, I might use this and then it could save me money. I'm like, what am I, starting a fire? No, I'm not. I don't know how to start a fire. That was definitely a sign that I had the scarcity mindset. And I remember doing that. I remember being like, okay, like this isn't good. Like something's got to change. But in reality, the things that actually move the needle, which for us have been changing jobs, getting promotions, graduating college, paying off a car, those things have moved the needle and they just take time. You gotta be patient and you gotta be consistent. And I don't think turning your AC off or saving the lint from the dryer is really gonna give you the financial freedom that you're looking for. Okay, the third sign that you might have the scarcity mindset is when you feel racked with guilt from wasting things. I'm sure we've all done this before, but you know, when you buy food at the grocery store and you're like, I actually don't like this, but then you make yourself eat it anyways, even though it's gross, because you're so afraid of wasting things. And this really does come back to the finite amount of resources part. So true, we do not have enough money for everything. And I feel like money, it really solves an evolutionary need, because if you have money, then you can buy food. If you have money, you can have a roof over your head. Money really has this survival feeling to it. But then I notice that if I'm super stressed and anxious and beating myself up about buying something and then not actually using it, then I take that back with me to the store. When I go to the grocery store, I am super overwhelmed because everything is a do or die decision. It's like, if I buy this, will I eat it? If I don't, I'm wasting everything. So it's just like so stressful. And I definitely felt this way with clothing. So I, for a long time, was a minimalist, but that minimalism stemmed from anxiety. I have nothing wrong with minimalism. I think it's great. If you subscribe to being a minimalist, that's great. There's so many good principles to it, but I found that minimalism gave me a sense of control, because I was like, if I need less stuff, then I'll have more money. But then I was like obsessively worrying about it and taking it to the extremes. And so at one point I only had 2 t-shirts and like 2 pants, 1 dress, 2 pairs of shoes. I just didn't have very much, which is fine if you love minimalism. When I started to shop again, because I realized, oh, if it's 95 degrees every single day, I'm gonna ruin these shirts, which I did. I ruined them. And then the one day I went to college wearing all my husband's clothes, and I felt horrible about myself because I was wearing clothes that did not fit me. Then realized I need to start buying clothes. But buying clothes became a very charged, stressful, anxious experience because I really didn't want to waste anything. So then I would buy a shirt, wear it a couple times and realize, you know, I actually do not like the shirt. It's not flattering, it's uncomfortable or whatnot. So upset at myself. Sometimes you just buy something that is not going to be a favorite forever. And so I would force myself to wear these things, and then I would finally give up and be like, oh no, I just don't like this shirt. Then I would not be able to go to the store. And so I was stuck in this minimalism trap, which again, totally fine if you subscribe to that lifestyle. But for me, let my anxiety flourish. And so it wasn't for me. Being alive and being human means that you are going to be wasting things. Food is going to go bad. You're going to outgrow clothes, or you're going to not like them, or you're going to ruin them. You're going to get that oil stain on it. It's never going to come out. Like, yeah, we don't want to be wasteful, but I think that when we're obsessively worrying about wasting everything in our life, it becomes a monster unto itself, and it's probably not very helpful. Okay, this next one was 100% me for such a long time. So the fourth sign that you might have the scarcity mindset is when you won't even do the math to see how much something costs. So this is a huge hallmark of living a very small life. A lot of people are natural overspenders, and their brain is always telling them, okay, you need to have it all. The scarcity mindset, it says that you can't have any of it. I have definitely been the type of person that's been very like, oh, I'm so much better than that person because I'm not spending that money, and I'm saving so much more money, and like I'm so much better than everyone else because I'm just like going without everything. But then at some point you're realizing that you feel like everything is expensive and you can't do anything with your life. So it's true, you cannot have everything. You can't have the nicest house and the nicest cars and new clothes and go to Europe every single year and have the newest Apple products right when they come out. The overspending mindset says that you need everything, but the scarcity mindset says you can't have anything. We need to meet in the middle of these two and have a healthier financial mindset that says we can't have it all, but we can have what we really want. The great thing about money, and I also think this applies to time as well, is that because it is limited, what we choose has meaning to it. If you want to go to Europe every single year, you can make it happen. You just have to cut on all the other things in your life. If you really want the nicest house, maybe you won't have the nicest cars, maybe you'll work really hard and work long hours. Every decision you make means that you're missing out on something else, but that is what gives your decisions meaning and gives them weight in your life, and that's what makes you different from other people, because like you can't all do everything. So what are your specific choices that you're gonna do with your money? A couple things that me and my husband have decided are very important to us, and you can do very small things. Like these are really small. Number one, I don't wanna drive around to the cheapest place to find gas. I'm not gonna do it. The first gas station I see is the one I'm going to. That's a huge thing for me. The second thing is I wanna be able to use paper towels. I don't want to use a paper towel and then dry it out and then use it again. I also want to use the best toilet paper. I don't know why I have a thing about toilet paper, but like that is something super important to me. These little things that make a huge difference that don't cost too much money, but like we like to buy Delta tickets. We really enjoy that they are usually very close to the gate. You don't have to walk super far from security. And then I also like to choose flights that are not at like 2 a.m. So we spend extra money on our flights so that we can fly at a more reasonable time. Yeah, there's also flip sides. Like we do not have a fully furnished house. We don't. A lot of our house looks kind of empty. We finally have nightstands, we have a dresser, we have a bed, no headboard, no bed frame or anything. We just have a box. We have hand-me-down furniture. We are slowly but surely adding that stuff, but some people, it's really important to them to move into their house and buy a $3,000 couch and a $1,000 TV and a $2,000 sideboard and accent chairs. You really can have the things that you want the most, but you can't have it all. And the scarcity mindset doesn't even let you calculate what you do want. I'm working super hard, so let me intentionally design my life that I can afford with the money that I do make. Alrighty, for the last one, and this one is the most embarrassing for me. Like, I can't believe I did this, but number 5, you might have the scarcity mindset if you low-key lose it at the cash register. A little story time here. I needed a claw clip. I struggled buying stuff. We went to the grocery store and I found one for $4 at Fred Meyer's, which I love Fred Meyer's. And I was super pumped it was only $4. I was like, this is such a deal, let's go. Even though I had no idea how much a claw clip was. I just kept saying I needed one, but never made any moves to make one, which is like, it's such a small thing, but that's the scarcity mindset for you. So then we go to the register. My husband starts scanning things at self-checkout. He scans one item and I didn't notice that he scanned it. Then he scans my claw clip. I look at the screen and it says $11 and I unfortunately. Like not screaming, crying, throwing things, lose it, but like I do the classic, oh my gosh, this is so much more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. We shouldn't buy this. This is way too much. I don't know, I don't feel good about this. I'd literally get like sick to my stomach when something was more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. And then my husband was like, oh no, it's only $4 still. And then I was so embarrassed. I thought it was $4 and then it ended up maybe possibly being $11. Why was I losing it over that difference? In the grand scheme of things, that's not that much. You get to choose the things that you wanna freak out about. And if that's something that you want to freak out about, like that's totally good. That's what I chose at that moment. But for me, I really don't want to live a life where I go to the grocery store, see a mistake or a mishap or something has a different price as what I thought it was going to, and then lose it. I would rather just have more financial peace, like not freak out about those things, because really, how often does that actually happen? And then when it does happen, is it worth your mental health? And then the embarrassment afterwards, because I'm always so embarrassed when I do those kind of things. Back then, I was more willing to risk my peace of mind to save a buck, but now I'm not willing to do that. And I feel like that is a sign that I am overcoming the scarcity mindset. And I don't blame anyone for doing this, especially because prices are just like, they're increasing and it can be really stressful. But I think again, the biggest things are those promotions, changing jobs, having a reasonable car, not getting in a credit card debt. I feel like those are bigger things than like saving 50 cents, $1, $2 here or there. It's not our fault that we have the scarcity mindset, but it is our responsibility to overcome it. And I am very, very motivated to overcome the scarcity mindset. I know it's not a linear journey, but I do feel like I'm at a way better place now than I used to be. Wow, am I so much happier? I'm so much more at peace. The fact that I don't have to wake up and go, I don't know if I'm gonna freak out at the grocery store. I don't know if I'm gonna beat myself up for wasting a t-shirt or wasting some groceries. I don't know if I'm gonna have to miss out on a conversation with someone that I love because I just cannot stop talking about money. If you have the scarcity mindset and you still don't wanna let it go because it does give you a sense of control, I totally get that. But I will say, standing here 5 years later, I'm at such a better place right now and I definitely recommend it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me today on this video about the scarcity mindset. I hope it really helped and I will see you guys next time. Bye.